your socks! Hey!
The Lost Art with Andrew Cox podcast. Marine Corps League and Till Valhalla Project Ambassador. Now streaming on all major podcast platforms. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast as giving a voice to our veterans. The Lost Art with Andrew Cox. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Podcast, that podcast giving a voice to our veterans. I'm your host, Andrew Cox, and today we're having a fireside chat with the crew. But before we get into the episode, are you enjoying the podcast? And make sure you go to the website. That's thelostart.podbean.com. Go check us out. See what we got going on. If there's any way you can help us in getting our veteran voices out for all to hear, please go check it out and see if you can help us. And big shout out to the Till Valhalla Project. If you don't know anything about them, go to their website. That's tillvalhallaproject.com. And as always, if you're a Marine out there and you're needing a place to hang your hat for a while and have that camaraderie that you had before, don't forget about the Marine Corps League. We're trying to get their numbers up. Go check them out at mcleague.org. Are you a Marine veteran? Are you missing that bond you had on active duty? Then I have a place for you. Join the only congressionally chartered Marine Corps Veteran Service Organization, the Marine Corps League. Get that brother and sisterhood back in your life. Become one of the fewer, the prouder, a Marine Corps League member. All right, with that, I got some of the crew here. We'll go ahead and go round robin. Mark, how you doing?
I'm doing outstanding. Southern California got some rain, started like last night, but it's almost within the first measurable rain with close to a year. Last year at this time, and we had these rains, these powerful rains that and then there's a lot of these areas that the storm drains weren't all ever cleared out. The areas and the brush was all built up, and it caused a big just a massive flooding of these neighborhoods that there was no reason that they ever should have been flooded, and they wrecked all kinds of homes, neighborhoods, vehicles. It was horrible. And so this is the first measurable rain we've had. It's pretty nice. There was a lot of the Santa Ana winds were kicking in last week, and we did start some fires in San Diego County that were starting to get out of control. But this hopefully is helping our great firefighters put out those blazes.
Yeah, they've been doing a pretty good job. The firefighters out there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was a struggle, but they've stepped it up and they've been doing pretty good out there.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And it's another glorious day with our outstanding new president of the United States, number 45 and number 47. It's just phenomenal. And we got the first Marine as vice president and enlisted man, which is even better.
That's right. Did you see those? There's some memes going around of this isn't the first time that a Marine enlisted has helped an officer get a job, and it was like the Secretary of Defense. What was his name? Hedge or whatever.
That's great.
Yeah, it was pretty good meme. I thought it was pretty funny, but as it should be. That's the way I see it. Yeah. All right, Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I can't complain. Been a decent week.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. It was 65 degrees today, so we went from snow to 65 degrees. So
do you still have snow around? Do you see it?
There's still a little bit laying here and there, but anything that's in the shade. But I still got some in the front yard. It's up close to the house. But
yeah,
I mean, other than that, I can't complain. Everything's good.
Very nice. Well, it's just the three of us, so we're gonna do things a little differently this week and just chat and have a conversation.
The three of us.
We can make it if we try, just the three of us. So,
You and us.
so let's talk maybe about Trump and him coming into office and all of the. I mean, it's been a week, well, just over a week, I think. Um, there's been a
Not even,
lot of
not
crazy
even six.
stuff.
Yes. Day,
Has it
yep.
been? It hasn't
Day
even been
number
a week.
7.
This is 7.
This is 7.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, what are some of the things that you guys are shocked about? If you're shocked about anything,
I follow some things and I see it here and there, but I don't overly watch the news, and I'll get updates on my phone and stuff. But I mean, I've
yeah,
just seen some of the things like today with Colombia and stuff like that. But I don't claim to be extremely up to date like you and probably Mark are on a lot of it.
yeah. One of the things, and Mark, you'll appreciate this, but did you see the conference or television conference that he did in L.A. with the leadership there?
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I saw parts of that.
that was pretty good. He had some choice words, and he was diming some people out and telling them how they didn't do what they were supposed to do. And man, he went off on FEMA while he was doing it, rightfully so, I think. But yeah, it was pretty interesting. And then like all of the people in the audience, I guess it was the audience, whoever was there, but it was homeowners that their homes had burnt down and stuff like that, and they were saying we can't even get on our property. We can only go up to the property. They're not letting us on the property. And then I think it was the mayor, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, they can do it. And they're like, no one's letting us on. Well, it will
Uh,
be soon. And they were like, well, how soon? And then she's like, oh, what, within a week? And Trump was like, oh no,
oh
that's
no,
way too long. That's way
yeah,
too long.
make it now.
and then and then whoever it was that was sitting next to her took the mic and was like, whoop, and moved it off of her. It was pretty funny. So he's out there doing his
Yeah, yeah,
thing.
I did see a
Yeah.
clip of that. I didn't understand. I didn't get the full context of what was going on, but I saw the. It's
Yeah.
like, yep, yep, yep. You're silenced. No more.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
they
going
were
to come
trying to get
down.
that off.
There's going to be a lot of accountability.
Oh yeah.
Accountability. He's gonna hold you accountable right there and in front of God and everybody when you're on television with him. You know,
Oh
if
yeah.
you better be. You're gonna have to be prepared if you're on TV with Trump right now because he's gonna ask you a question. If you stand there and go hobnob glob slob, oh no, that ain't gonna go over too well. And
What was that again, Mark? What was it? Hobnob? What?
hobnob glob slob.
Okay, I got to remember
The
I
old,
like that.
the old,
Hobnob.
the old it's the old dodgeball.
Yeah.
Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge.
Mm.
No. What is it? What's, you know,
Yeah.
I,
He is an incredibly sharp man too, and incredibly witty. I am surprised every time I hear him talk. He is able to just spit stuff out
oh, yeah.
and just keep people on their toes. It's amazing.
Yeah, if he would knock off some of the stuff here and there, I'd be happy. But it's
Yeah.
like, oh, there's never been any. It's like, okay, dude, just tone that down just a hair. And it's like, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Stuff like that. It's like,
Yeah. He.
he either sits and memorizes, or he actually does research, or he's actually got
Mhm.
people giving him good information. Because on
Yeah,
some of that,
it's
it's like,
probably all three. Probably
yeah,
all
Oh
three of
yeah.
what you said. But I am just begging. I mean, just praying that, he says the federal government will help out California on these fires.
Hmm.
But I just pray that he says, but there will be conditions.
Oh yeah, I would imagine so.
Oh,
Well, he did say something in the conference. He said we got to make sure that the water's flowing down here. He's like, you can't stop it. It's got to come all the way down. So I mean, he was already telling them, hey, you got to do this. If you don't do this, man, there's going to be consequences.
yeah, yeah.
So I mean, it's pretty wild. Uh, and then
They can take all those IRS agents that they're not hiring anymore and put them on a construction crew.
yeah, yeah,
Start rebuilding those reservoirs.
that's right. Oh man, there was oh man, Carly was telling me about it earlier. There was something about oh man, I'll have to think of it in a minute. It slipped my mind. I'm sorry. But the Colombia thing was one we were mentioning earlier, but uh, how he basically told them, hey, you got to take these illegal aliens back. And he had two planes full, as from my understanding. And they said, no, we're not going to take them. So he got on and is like, okay, well, if you're not going to do it, and he started laying down the law, man. Hey, these are the things
Yep.
it's going to happen.
Yep.
And within like 6 minutes, the guy calls him and is like, okay, yeah, we'll
Oh,
take them. In fact, I think they said we'll send our plane to pick them up and bring them back down.
right, right. He said,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
I
no,
was
don't,
like,
don't worry about your fuel. We got it. We got it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, I didn't read all that. I had kind of heard a little bit of it, but I hadn't seen where I hadn't read that much of the story. But
Oh, one of the things I saw this week was Putin. He said that he would have, he's agreeable to peace talks. But one of his stipulations was they want Fauci
they
to
want
be
Fauci.
sent to Russia be sent to Russia to stand trial for what he did to the world with the
Well,
with the
that's
COVID
awesome.
shots and all that stuff. Yeah, that was
That
one
is
of
so
his
awesome.
bargaining tools. He was like, hey, I want Fauci over here.
Yeah, that is so awesome.
Yeah. So what do they call it? Extraditing or whatever, where they send them somewhere else.
that'll never happen.
I,
But I
hey,
man, my
you
Well,
never
butt cheeks.
know.
If I
and
was
we
him,
should
my
never
butt
give up an
cheeks would be
American anyway, but
so
we should
puckered up.
prosecute him. We
Yeah,
should
yeah,
never
that's
give it.
true.
We should never give up an American to another country, but we should prosecute the guy.
I don't know if they'll be able to, because didn't he get a pardon?
He sure did.
Yeah.
However, that's already those pardons already being challenged
Yeah.
because how can you pardon someone if you haven't committed a crime yet? That's right
Yeah.
uh, uh, in the stipulation or the regulations for
Yeah.
pardons. You
I
got to
mean,
have
if
a
that's the
crime to
case,
pardon them on.
yeah, if that's the case, pardon me and just let me go out and rob a couple of banks or something, you know.
Yeah, I didn't know Fauci had been pardoned.
Yes. Yep.
I knew
Yeah.
Biden the last minutes before the election. You know, not the election, but the inauguration. He pardoned his whole entire family.
Yeah.
I
And
think
I mean,
Fauci
what
might have been in on that one. That
you know,
he might have
what
been
He was
in on
one of the
that.
last minute ones, I think.
what's the reasoning behind that? Is at that point is there something there that you're trying to protect? I mean,
There has to be.
well, absolutely, and that's what everything I'd read. It was more of a financial aspect than it was anything else, and it was finances and financial. I just can't. I mean, that just blows my mind that there's people out there that actually deserve a pardon, but he pardoned his wife, his kids, his everybody and their brothers, so they can never be touched.
Yeah.
Yep. But
And
did you see the mayor of because Tom Holman, the new ICE, is he the ICE director or whatever?
oh yeah, I
He
like
says
that guy.
that Chicago. Oh yeah, he says Chicago's our number one priority to go in there and take all the criminals out of their jails and
Mhm.
everything else on the street. And now the mayor of Chicago saying, "Well, we'll arrest your ICE officers." Yeah, he might be the one getting locked up.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
it works like that. You go ahead and start arresting federal agents and see how that.
It's not gonna work out well.
How
I
that
can tell
Yeah,
works
you
out.
that.
that's not NCIS we're talking about. I mean, it's the real
They
world.
Yeah, they have jurisdiction. They can go pretty
Yeah.
much anywhere they want to go.
Well, I understand there's got to be some maybe for the right reasons, some pushback. It's like no, no. But at the end of the day, I mean, what? Oh, we're going to arrest your ICE agents.
Yeah.
See how that goes over. And I mean, that doesn't mean they need to overreach their authority as agents. I mean, do the right thing, but they're going into that state in that city for a specific reason, for reasons that we all understand. At least, I think the
Hmm.
majority of us do.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you treat human beings like garbage, but it's like, okay, guess what? Pack your crap up. Your free stay's gone. Done. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's time to go.
Well, didn't they correct me if I'm wrong? ICE went into Colorado and they arrested. It was quite a few individuals there. Um, my 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 computer whiz is in the other room watching football and listening to the conversation, and she's sending me things as we're talking. So
Oh,
she hears my side of the
she,
conversation. She's sending me
she's
stuff.
watching the Bills game, and
Oh yeah, yeah. She's a huge Kansas City fan. So if you hear any screaming in the other room, know that it's her, uh,
I
because she
don't
screams
dislike
on just
Kansas
about
City,
every
but
play.
I'm rooting for Buffalo on this one.
Oh, you're rooting for Buffalo?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're kind of that underdog that I'm like, all right, let's go.
Carlene just said she hates you.
Uh, I love you, Carlene. I
He
never did
says
anything to you.
oh, she said the Bills are losing.
I know they are. I can see it's 21-16 right now. I can see it right there, right in
He
front of
says
me.
it. He says he knows. He's watching it. Oh man. So what about Doge? What do you guys think about that? That's been some crazy stuff.
Have they already
The
been
what is
doing
it?
stuff? I haven't even heard what they've
Oh
been
my God. So hold on. This is from
doing.
Yahoo News. It says the Department of Government Efficiency said it canceled 420 million in contracts in 80 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. There was Carlene was telling me
Through
about
what? I
a
mean, through what? Through what?
so they've been going through all the government's spending, right? One of the things was there's I can't remember, it might have been the FBI, somebody like that, but there were spoons that this company makes, and they were paying like they get these spoons engraved or whatever and give them out to people
Okay.
or what have you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was like a ridiculous amount of money that they were spending on this. So it's just stuff like that, and they're just going through and systematically, saying, "Hey, no, this is wrong. Nope, can't spend this money, can't spend that money." I mean, you can think about all the waste and fraud and abuse that happens, in the military
Oh,
spending. So imagine across all the federal agencies and stuff.
Yeah.
There
It
was a
seems that most of them aren't even regulated. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's been a company that was studying ducks, uh, and it like some vision thing for ducks or something. Uh, and they've been studying them for years and years and years since like the 80s, and they've been getting like $3 million or something like that. Was it a year? Yeah, $3 million a year to study these ducks, and no, and it's continued on. Nobody stopped it. So that's
so
three
just getting
million
rich
bucks a
doing
year.
nothing.
Yes. So some CEO somewhere of this duck studying company or whatever is sitting there doing nothing because who's even listening? When's the last time you heard anything about a duck and from an agency? I haven't heard anything. Stop. Not nice. Sorry. Uh but yeah, it's been pretty wild, the stuff that they found. I mean,
Oh,
it's insane.
that's that. They better just keep cutting. Just keep
Oh
cutting and
yeah.
cutting and cutting.
Yeah. They said, I think it was the IRS agents. Carlene, is that right? The IRS agents that they said that are not, what's that? They're going to fire 88,000 IRS agents.
it
Oh,
seems something like that. Yeah. But I didn't see a number. The
Yeah,
article I
they're,
read, it said the writing's on the wall. So you need to start looking for other work. And I didn't get
yeah.
any deeper than that. I was like, what?
He also signed, I think his first day in office, he signed something that said that all federal workers have to come back into the office.
oh, that's I love that. I love
Oh, and
that
another,
so much.
Another thing that Doge found was that, and I can't remember what company it was, but they were spending like 80 grand a year or something on K cups, the little coffee cups. Oh, $230,000. She's correcting me as we're speaking.
Wow.
230,000 on these K cup things, but everybody's working from home and they're still paying for these K cups.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, 230,000 a month.
Whoa.
Yeah. K cups.
Yeah, that's where your money's going.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It
Hey, did you
needs
see
to come
they
to me.
did you see they arrested that Haitian gangbanger and he says, I'm not going back to Haiti. Did
And
you see that? And he was going,
what,
Obama, woohoo.
what is it that he may think that, but he's going back. That's what what's his name said.
Bowman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Coleman. Yeah. He's a no nonsense guy too. He cracks me up.
Oh yeah.
Every time he talks,
Big
I'm like,
time.
he's just straight to the point. I love it.
Have you seen that thing in New York since after the first of the year, like New York City and that to come into New York City under a certain street and a majority of like employees in New York City, yeah, a lot of them live in New York City, like Manhattan and those areas, but they come in from New Jersey and that where they uh, passed into law. And it was passed in last year, but it got blocked. And a judge said, "Nope, can't do it. You can't block it." It was that congestion pricing,
I don't know what that
where
is.
well, what they're doing is they're trying to get people to take mass transit,
Mm,
so they have less vehicles on the road, less fuel consumption, exhaust.
yeah.
But they're charging people to try to come in between like 5 a.m. and I forget what it is. A certain in a certain point in
Basically
like
rush hour times.
yes,
Yeah.
to get to work in time in New York City, they're
Hmm.
charging them. It's I think it's $9 one way
To get to work
to get in, and a lot of these
Wow.
people are literally paying 9 in, 9 out, so that's $18.
a
But
day.
then they're having to pay all these tolls for the tunnels and the bridges just to get
Yeah.
in to go to work. And New Jersey was suing the state of New York, and they got it blocked. But then a judge turned around and said, "No, it has no consequential effect on workers," and they overturned it. So right after the first of the year, all of a sudden, anybody that's coming into New York, or if you drive below a certain point,
Hmm.
you're getting charged. And the way they do it is, it's like a sun pass or a peach pass or, a toll thing. They literally are charging you by plate or by that. And everybody and their brother out there is going bonkers. And Trump said, that's going to end. And he flat out told the governor that. He said, it's going to end. You can't do that. And they basically said, well, there's nothing you can do about it. It's a state affair. So you can't stop it. But they're
Wow.
looking at, just the average person. It's, a month coming in from like New Jersey, what they have to pay in tolls and all that. It's
Hmm.
almost $200 a month people are having to pay just to go to work. That includes parking because, they don't get free parking in those places. They go to work, they still have to pay to park.
Yeah, that's
So,
just ridiculous.
so everybody and their brothers reaching out to Trump, and Trump's like, well, I'll
Wow.
put an end to that. But whether he can or can't, I don't know. But
But do you think that the infrastructure is there in order for all those individuals that are driving back and forth every day to be able to take the transit and do those types of things? Do
well,
you
that's
think there's
just
enough
it.
there?
In New
You know,
York? In
Yeah,
New
no.
York? You don't
I
think
don't think
so?
there is.
Well, I mean, there
They were kind
is,
of
but the
built on
problem
that.
is if you sit there and you go online and look at news and stuff like that, people are afraid to use the trains, or what I know them is called subways. They call them trains, but there's trains even come in from like Connecticut in there because people come in from Connecticut, New Jersey, and all that.
Hmm.
But the crime has gotten so bad that people are afraid to get on, subways and
Yeah.
transit
Oh,
for fear of what's going to happen. I mean, you literally have on a daily basis, you go sit there and read stories about it. You'll have some freaking, it may be a drug addict. It is what it is. Haul off and punch some woman in the face,
Yeah.
on a subway. People don't want to use it. And that's the big thing they said in this whole law when they put it into play for New York was they didn't account for the hours. They didn't bother to set up more trains,
Hmm.
a bigger schedule to be okay. Well, this is what you want us to do, but you didn't do anything to increase the amount of mass transit that can
Yeah.
move people. Well, what they wanted was that money. It was that $9, one way,
Oh yeah.
but they didn't do anything to stop and think about, okay, we're going to penalize you for driving, so we want you to take mass transit. But they didn't do anything to put into place where they were going to run more trains or,
Yeah.
So now people that had to get up at 5 a.m. to come to work, if they do that now, they've got to leave at like 4 o'clock in the morning just to get to work so they don't get penalized.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
And then if they want to take mass transit, it's so full that they literally people are standing there like, okay, we want to get on a subway, we want to get on a train, but
Isn't it like
we can't.
in Japan? I think it's Japan. There's so many people that are getting on the transit and stuff that it's like they cram them and they start shoving them in. It'll be
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I couldn't imagine that. I get claustrophobic and I get around too many people and I start freaking out. I'm like, oh, I can't have it.
Well, that's just it. You can't see every possible person. You can't see every possible exit or
Mm.
entry. You can't, especially there. Hell, even if you have a damn pocket knife, you're a criminal.
Oh
In
yeah,
like
that's
New
true.
York City and that, you can't. I mean, you're not even allowed to carry pepper spray.
Didn't Trump sign something that said you can carry in every state?
I think that's coming. I think that's coming.
Yeah.
I thought he signed something, but it has to be voted on by Congress or something.
Most likely. It's kind of like a driver's license, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the driver's license. But I know he saved another $15 million by canceling Fauci's security detail.
Oh yeah. Why in the world did Fauci even have a security detail? That's what I don't get.
Yeah.
Like I'm from my understanding, presidents, former presidents get a security detail. Uh, but why would he? Like, what was so important about Fauci that he gets a security detail?
I know, but did you hear what Trump said too? He goes, when someone asked him about canceling it, he goes, "Oh, he made a lot of money while he was in. He can afford his own detail."
That's a true statement. He definitely made
You know,
plenty
he
of
gets
money
like $400,000 a year retirement.
in
Yeah, federal.
retirement.
He was the highest paid federal employee.
Wow. Holy cow.
Yeah.
400,000.
Yep.
I wouldn't say so bad if he sends some of the money our way.
Hmm.
I could be bought out. Shoot. Oh man. Well, what else has been happening? Anything good?
Let's see. No,
Nothing.
oh, where'd Mike go?
He's probably getting a drink.
Lost him on the phone.
He was talking about mass transit and he's like, I gotta take
Yeah.
some time. I gotta
Sorry,
take some time.
sorry. No, but going back to Fauci, I mean, that's absolutely freaking ridiculous. Well, it's no different. I mean, you got people like Pelosi and them have freaking security details. That shit's all
Is it
paid for. Yeah,
by
I
the
mean, they
government
don't.
though?
Yes,
I just don't understand that.
I mean, probably more for Fauci because there's probably more people want to freaking, agree, disagree with the guy. I don't know,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's there's
Oh, what
him and his
about
family and
yeah. Speaking of Fauci and the COVID vaccine, what about Trump signing the thing saying, hey, if you got kicked out because you wouldn't take the shot, you can come back with pay.
Wow. With all that back pay?
Yeah,
Woo.
that's a
How many
lot of
years
back pay.
how many years ago did they put him out?
See, one, two, yeah,
in
at least
2020.
three.
Yeah,
At least three.
So they actually did
You're
that. I mean, I
talking,
read
Oh
that, and
yeah.
I've not.
you're,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
talking,
I
you're talking hundreds plus $1,000
oh yeah.
to come back
Uh
in.
I interviewed a young Marine female that got out because she refused to take the shot, and she was like up for promotion for staff sergeant, and she was like, "No, I'm not taking the shot." And they basically ostracized her, sent her like basically treated her like she was scum, threatened her with page 11s. I mean, all kinds
Oh
of
yeah.
stuff because she's like, "No, I'm not taking the shot. Like that, you can't give me the shot. This is ridiculous." So eventually she was processed out, and she told me on the podcast, she's like, "I'm not coming back in. Like even if they offered it with back pay, I'm still not going to do it."
No,
But
I'm not coming back in, but you owe me back pay. You owe me my rank and my discharge, and
And they're
that's how
talking
I
about
look at it.
you would you would
yeah,
be you would be promoted also.
oh yeah, yeah. Non-competitive promotion at that point, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be like so easy, man.
Well, really, you could get
Oh,
depending on where you were, right? If you were up for staff sergeant and you got kicked out,
man, you're
well,
a
that
gunny.
amount of
You're walking
time,
back in
you
as a
could be
gunny.
looking at gunny already. So do you get the date of rank from, when you were supposedly supposed to get promoted or when you were in zone?
This
You
is
know?
exactly how it should be.
Yeah.
It's what is the highest attainable rank that you could have possibly gotten
Mm-hmm.
looking at your MOS and everything, like you were saying, Andrew, where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, bullshit. I mean, that's how it should be. But I'll go back because that's my feeling on it because of my own personal past. But I mean, I go back to what is really the difference between uh, the COVID vaccine and us being required to get smallpox, anthrax.
The anthrax
Anthrax
shot.
was
Yeah.
on, anthrax was off, anthrax was on, anthrax was off. Okay, well,
I
we're
think I
off
We
with
did
put
like
this
and
one
three
we
now.
put
rounds of
people
So
out
anthrax.
for the anthrax. We put
Yeah,
people
we
out of the
did.
Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
you know,
I
I
had a
mean,
Marine in my I had a Marine in my platoon in I think it was 2-1 in Echo 2-1. One of my Marines wouldn't get that shot, and we put him out. So,
Yeah.
what's your thought on that, Mark? I mean,
well, the anthrax it's a proven it was a
yes,
proven
yes,
vaccine.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the main difference is those are proven
yeah,
vaccines. I mean, I knew like all our veterinarians when I was growing up, all the vets used to take anthrax shots
Yeah.
all the time because of hoof and mouth disease. That's what it is,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
uh, yeah, so those are proven shots. Even though the one was corrupt, one of those out of that 7 series or 6 series, whatever, it's in our medical record that the shot was corrupt, and we took it anyway.
Yeah, but my thing with that, like anthrax, is we started getting them at Pendleton. They
Mm-hmm.
started the series, and then they blocked. It got stopped, and
Yeah.
there was a period of time, and all of a sudden, all right, well, we're giving them
You got to
again,
get them again. Yeah.
and then they turned around. It's like, okay, well, it's been a period of time, so now you got to get the first one again. I'm like, okay, so now I'm getting double shot with this dose, and then how many times was it blocked? I mean, it was more than once,
Yeah. I don't know.
and every
We
time he
I know
turned
for sure
around,
one. Yeah.
we were
they
leaving on
decided
the
to turn around and give us smallpox
Oh yeah.
less than
oh
a
yeah,
week before we left to go to Iraq. And it's
yep,
like, are you freaking
yep.
kidding me? They're like,
Oh,
yeah,
I
you
know.
can't have any contact with your spouse, kids, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It was
A
like,
week before deployment,
I
right?
was like,
Yeah.
we were less than a week out. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I mean,
I think the big one was if you got small kids, you can't be around them and stuff. I'm like,
yeah,
Yeah.
what? Like,
yeah,
that don't
you
make
got to
no
make sure
sense.
it's bandage covered up and everything
Yeah,
else.
yeah,
But
yeah.
you want to send us overseas with this freaking oozing a scab on her arm or whatever. And yeah, it's like, really? It's like, why don't we start this long before now at this point?
Yeah. You know,
But
it's
I understand
amazing.
the anthrax thing, Mark. But
Yeah, the others because it wasn't approved, like nothing was really scientifically proven if it works or not. And now everything's coming out of all the side effects and all the crazy things and basically saying that it didn't work. Um, which we all probably knew that anyways, because how many of us actually got COVID and COVID more than one time
Yeah.
with the shot? So, but that's like the flu shot for me. Every year I take the flu shot, what do I get? I get the flu. If I don't take the flu shot, I don't get the flu.
Yeah, I haven't had the flu shot in years. The last one I got sick as a damn dog. And
Do you get the flu whenever you don't take it? Yeah.
I mean, I don't get me wrong. I mean, everybody gets sick,
Yeah.
but I'm talking like sick for me is like 2 days of sniffling, sneezing, got a cough, or okay, well, I got the sweats, or I'm cold one night, and it's like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm done. It's not this, but the last flu shot I got, and it wasn't even a shot; it was just up the nose,
Oh
and
yeah, the flu
I
mist.
was sick for a damn week. And that's what I told my wife. She was last year. They were getting flu shots because she's a nurse, and they were required. She got to have them, got to get them.
Yeah.
And she came home with two more, and she said, "Hey, what's her name? Just went ahead and gave me this if you want a flu shot." I was like, "You are not spraying that damn thing up my damn nose." And she goes, "Well, yeah." I was like, "No, absolutely not."
You were sleeping in the middle of the night and she walked in and was
No,
like, shh, shh.
no, she did not. It went in the refrigerator, and I took it and threw it in the trash can. I was like, "Nope, it
I
is
remember
not."
I went in one time for the flu mist because they were doing the mist at that point. And
Yeah,
I go in and the foreman's like, all right, all you gotta do is sniff it in when I go like this. And I was like, I don't want it, man. And he was like, how about you just don't sniff in whenever I spray it and then blow your nose? And I'm like, deal.
yeah,
So he just sprayed it. I didn't
yeah,
sniff. I blew my
Oh
nose.
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah. He was told what he had to do, but
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I haven't had a shot since I retired from the Marine Corps.
Yeah, me either.
Nothing. I have a shot of nothing.
And
The only one
how
I
many
had
years
was a
has that
tetanus
been now?
shot because I couldn't prove that I had a tetanus shot anytime in the recent time. But
Ooh. Mark, how long you been retired now?
It'll be 13 years. Well, it's 12 and a half years now. Be
12 and a
13
half.
in July.
Dang. Man,
yeah,
it seems just like yesterday you were yelling at me about stuff. Man.
just like yesterday.
Oh, man.
Those were good
Well,
days down in the depot.
Hey man, I had a phone call with Mark the other night. Mark was yelling at me. I'm like, "Yes, sir, Major. Aye, sir, Major." I mean,
yeah.
was just
He has
stop. I just
he has that ability to get you to pop to attention every now and again, you know?
uh, Hi, Sergeant Major. Yes, sir. It's like, shit, I was a damn master, Sergeant Major. I don't give a damn. I was like, okay.
I'll never forget. You walked on the deck one time. I don't know if you remember this. And I can't remember exactly what I was doing, but I was doing something stupid. And
Imagine that.
you walked on deck and it was like attention on deck. And I was like, oh no. I turned around, it was you. All you did was point to the duty hut, and I was like, damn it. I walked in the duty hut, you went in there, you were like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. You were like, stop it. Oh, okay. Yes, sorry, Major. Yeah. Oh man. That
Like I
was the
said,
worst feeling.
I,
Your heart would just sink as soon as you hear attention
oh,
on deck and you're right back there doing something stupid. You're like,
hell yeah.
ah. Kept you on your toes though. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Like I said, I, all the stuff I caught drill instructors doing, and no one ever got any type of, not even a
Oh yeah.
6105 out of it. I mean, um, but yeah, that's just how I'm
Well,
operating, you
that's
know?
called leadership. I mean, if you saw something that was deserving, I'm sure it happened. But I mean, the simple fact that we're all human, and what you guys, especially in a drill field, were doing.
But but what I would tell them is, I would say, hey, the Marine Corps works on credit, and now you owe me.
That's true. That is
And
true.
that's how it should
Yeah,
be.
yeah,
Exactly. It's like I just saved your tail right now. So guess what? Your
yeah.
is
You
mine
owe me.
at this point. It's
Oh my
There
God.
might
Yeah.
come a day when I ask.
Well, that's exactly how it should be. I mean,
Oh man.
it doesn't mean you cover up heinous acts, but
Yeah.
Oh, no, no, no. Yeah,
it's like,
no.
and that's
But still,
is it?
you got to give a person an opportunity to screw up and recover from it, you
Oh,
know?
yeah.
Yeah,
Just like we were talking, those any drill instructor that came back that had been relieved for cause and come back on their second tour, none of the other sergeant majors wanted them. I'm going,
Yeah.
I'll take them. I mean, they're
Yeah.
already
yeah,
trained.
Mm-hmm.
They know they can't screw up again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're the perfect fit.
It's almost a no-brainer at that point,
It's
right?
yeah,
exactly. But
yeah,
some people don't want to let it go. They don't want to
Yeah.
let them recover from their past.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Which is messed up.
I had been held back by certain people, uh,
Mm-hmm.
so I was not gonna, let that happen to these.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I
It
think
was even
that's
like in the infantry when a young Marine, when I was the first sergeant, when a young Marine would be getting some type of trouble or whatever like that, especially if they lost a stripe or
Mm-hmm.
uh, uh, even if they just got NJP and so their pro and cons are really low. You know, I don't know what the regulations are now, but back then, like I said, if they had to be in they had to be in a billet. According to the Marine Corps regs, they had to be in a certain billet for at least 30 days before they could get a pro and con.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, boom, I would move these Marines from one platoon to the next,
Yeah.
and they had to get, and then they get pro and cons. So every time they got that good pro and con, it made their average go up.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
And so they were able to get their time and grade, time and service added in there with their average pro and cons went up. You know, it gave them a chance to recover faster. No
Yeah.
one else could. Other people couldn't understand that. And then like some of these platoon crews, oh, I can't lose this guy. I don't want. He needs to stay in this platoon. Do you really care about him?
yeah,
Do you want him to
Yeah.
recover?
yeah.
This is the best way to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good
And that's
point.
one thing. I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for infantry. I don't. By no means was I an infantry marine, but that's the difficult thing. Like in our field with the band field, we couldn't do that. But I don't honestly think as staff NCOs that was actually something that was thought of. What do we? What can you do? I mean, even in our field, Andrew, could we have moved a marine out of the unit? I mean, we
Uh,
really couldn't. I
the
mean,
only
Not really,
time
but
that
you would have to take a look at their billets, and if their billet
Mhm.
had certain things, like if they had a certain thing on that billet, and you move them to another billet that still falls under their MOS, then
Yeah.
yeah,
you could do it.
yeah,
I think you could do it, and I've sent Marines to other shops within like a battalion or something like that.
Right,
So to go work in the S3 or go do something else,
correct.
right? Uh, but I mean, they still have the primary MOS, but and Mike can talk to this too. But usually, you send a band Marine somewhere, they're going to do pretty well because typically they're pretty smart, and not always, but typically they're pretty smart and they can go and they can thrive wherever they're at and do
Right,
really well. So if you can do that, like, okay, he got in trouble here in the band, let's send him over to, the S3 for a while. Well, he'll go over there and flourish and get good pros, cons, whatever the case may be. Then you can bring them back.
correct.
Now
That's I
that
mean,
those types of things are possible with as long as you have good relationships within those
yeah,
yes,
other
yeah.
yes,
shops.
But that's what, like you said, that's leadership. That's working with
yeah,
each other, and
Yeah.
not letting them get away with stuff, making sure that they perform.
Hmm.
But when
yeah,
they
Yeah.
perform, it's uh, it's it's
One of the
it's just the right thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the when I was a senior enlisted at the School of Music, I had a Marine. He did some really dumb things. Like he was just stupid, and I pulled him in, and it felt like I laid into him, and it was personal. Like I was like, "You're a piece of crap. I hope that you can't reenlist." And I went down the list. I was like, "Because you're doing these things, like." I don't want you to be a part of my Marine Corps type of deal, right? So I laid into him and I was like, I don't think you'll ever be a good Marine, but you know what? You go prove me wrong. I said, you go out there and prove to me that you're better than what you're showing me right now. So when I did that, he left, right? He finally graduated and he left, went to Pendleton. Was where he ended up with the band out there. And all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, I get a message from him. And it's like, hey, I just wanted to let you know I'm proving you wrong. I got selected for corporal. I'm pinning on da da da. And I was like, good for you, man. Like you keep proving me wrong. And like every step, every time he got a new thing, he would message me and be like, hey, I'm still proving you wrong. I'm still proving you wrong. And I was like, that's good to go, you know. So every
Yeah.
now and again, some people need that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, believe me, there's this one corporal I had in Lima 3-1, and this guy just had great talent, a lot of potential, a lot of potential. Good, performed very well in
Mhm.
combat, but back in garrison, he's just one of the boys, doesn't want to don't want to lead as an NCO, and always whining, crying, complaining about behind
Mhm.
about me behind my back, of course. But
Yeah.
I go to his retirement when he retired as a gunny. I go to his retirement,
Hmm.
and all his Marines are telling him all these stories about him, of how he was as a staff sergeant and a gunny. Then I look at him, and they're talking about things that he made them do that he learned from me, right? Go,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember when you thought that was the worst thing in the world. Yeah, sorry, Major, but it did work.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always
Yeah.
funny how it comes back around, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are good times.
Yeah.
Oh, so what else? What else? What else you guys want to talk about today? Anything
Let's
else?
see. I just saw something.
Hey, Buffalo's ahead of your wife's Chiefs.
Are they really?
Yeah, they just scored.
Hey, babe, are you okay? Buffalo's winning. Are you okay in there? She said, 1 point, Andrew, 1 point.
Yeah, I think they were going for a 2 point conversion and they didn't get it. So
Oh, okay. Okay.
gotcha. But,
Yeah. Well, they
no,
better win. That's all I can say. Because man, she'll slap
you'll
me
be
like
all
it's
right.
cool, you know.
You'll be all right. Well, you probably deserve that. You deserve a good
Mm.
slap over the years, just even when I served with you. So
It's a true statement. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Everybody deserves that
I
every
know
now and
we've
again,
talked
right?
about this story before, Mark, but I don't remember what the hell it was, Andrew. You probably remember better than I. It was something going on when we were in Blue Diamond and Ramadi, and something was going on, and Chief Warrant Officer Edmonds like, "You better get a hold of him. You better." I remember you and I walking out of base ops and walk around the corner, and there was a hallway you had to walk through down to where the buildings that we were all stuck in,
Yeah.
and the porta johns, and we were standing there, and I just remember turning around and looking at you, and shit, you're taller than I am,
Yeah.
and I grabbed you by I call it a flack, but it was, your vest and all that. I pulled you in. I'm like, you fucking dumb being a dumbass. And you're like, yes, Gunnery, sir. And I was like, fine. I was supposed to just chew your ass like it was cool and just ride you every which direction. And I don't, maybe you remember it, maybe you don't,
Oh
but
no, I do. I
I
do.
was like, you fucking done being a dumbass. And you looked at me and he's like, yes, Gunnery, sir. And I'm like, we good? And you're like, yes, Gunnery, sir. And I'm like, all right.
There were many a times on that deployment that I should have gotten in a lot of trouble. And
Well, the problem
if it
is
wasn't
I
for guys like you looking out
I
for me,
don't remember the instant. I don't remember what happened. I right now I don't remember it, but I remember it
there's a
was.
lot of things that could have been.
But I don't. I was just like, seriously. I mean, really. And in
Yeah.
my mind, I'm thinking I wouldn't have done anything different than you. I mean, it was something to do with somebody wasn't where they're supposed to be, or what was going on, or something like that. And you lost your crap,
Yeah,
and
probably.
somebody got mad, and somebody went to Edmondson and was bitching and moaning, and you got back and you knew it when you walked in. It was like, it was change and
Here
shift
it
and all that
comes.
crap, and it was like, you need to, because Joey Payton, Stat Sergeant Payton was relieving me, and he was
Yeah,
going on, and Peyton looked at me. He's like, "You got?" I was like, "Yeah, I got it." You know,
yeah.
I think Hungel was even there, and it's like, "All right." And then so he's like, "You need to." He needs us. I was like, "Okay." And it was not just us, but we had Captain Hammond with the S3 over there, and
Oh
Gunny
yeah.
Olson sitting there, and Lieutenant Brian up there from Truck Company. How
Oh
she
my God.
was, and I can't remember the other ones that were in there. It's like get
Were you
everything
in?
done. I was
Were
like,
you
get
in
your
there?
ass out and just go. And you walked out and stood outside, standing there. I was like, I'll be out in a minute. Go ahead.
Do you remember there was that Iraqi that was right outside of the camp, and he would always make those little cookies, and he would bring them in for everybody. And I they translated or not translated when they said it in Iraqi. Well, I don't know what they speak, but it was cock was the name of the cookie, right? Cock. And
Yes.
when he came in, he's like, "Here, have some cock," and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Cookies, cookies, have some cock," and I'm like, "Oh, that's funny." So I took it from
You walked in. Yes. Yes.
she was sitting up front, the lieutenant.
Yeah.
What was
Lieutenant
her
Brian.
name?
She's like,
Brian.
Brian, like, what was she? Red haired girl.
I
What?
don't
She probably
remember.
like 23
Oh
or
yeah.
something like that. Yeah. Sitting
I
there,
walked I
truck
walked in,
company.
I'm like, "Hey ma'am, you want some of my cock?" She just stopped and was like, and I'm like, "Get your head out of the gutter. It's a cookie."
Yeah, because Hammond was in the back corner back there. He just freaking was dying, laughing. Just he was.
Oh, some of the
Yeah,
stupidity we do.
no, you just
Good
walked in and
times.
said, "You want some cock?" And the whole place just went quiet. It was like,
Huh?
what?
Hey,
Correct
we
me if
didn't
I'm
we didn't
wrong,
say
but
anything about Pete Hegseth being appointed.
oh yeah, he did. He got it, and it was from the VP,
Old
JD
Vance
Vance, the Corporal of
had to break the
Marines.
tie. You
Yeah,
know it.
Corporal of Marines. Hey,
Yep.
what was it they said? This isn't the first time that an enlisted had helped
Yeah.
an officer get a job.
Get a job. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like JD Vance. I think that he'll be the next guy running for president. I think.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
he can
I
stay
wasn't
consistent, then can actually be a vice president with an agenda that actually
Hmm.
does something.
right.
I
Well,
think
I
he's
actually
that.
already out.
I was not a fan of his when Trump picked him. Uh, but but then after, when he admitted, hey, I was wrong, because he was an anti-Trumper.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But he said I was wrong. I did not believe that he would do all the things he said he would, and I didn't believe
Hmm.
this. But after watching him, I changed my mind, and I'm a firm
Yeah.
Yeah,
believer.
Yeah,
And
he's already out there doing good things. He went to
oh
North
yeah,
Carolina, and while he was out there, man, he super intelligent. The way he was able to speak, like whenever he's on camera and stuff like that, even speaking like to the people around him, he's amazing. I
yeah.
mean, I couldn't do
yeah,
that.
How about when he went on all those liberal
Oh
shows
yeah,
with
yeah,
CNN?
yeah,
With he he took all their questions and answered them right. He did
yeah,
a phenomenal job.
yeah, and would
He
yeah,
throw
didn't
things right back at him. Which
yeah.
he didn't get upset at all. Uh,
no,
I
Yeah,
was
he never showed any like emotion, like he was mad or let me try to
yeah.
deflect this
Nope.
or dodge it. He answered the question and turned around and
He did.
after the answer asked the question.
yeah,
And that was
Exactly. He did a phenomenal job. So yeah, like I said, I was not a fan at first, but I am now.
yeah, he's doing a good job. I really like him. He's got a level head. I think he's doing good things. I think he'll be the next one, or at
Oh
least
yeah,
I would
definitely,
vote for him. Yeah.
definitely. Oh yeah, hell yes, I will. No, it's he'll be the next one. He'll be
And what's really great about him is, Trump does great things. Don't get me wrong. He really does great things. he is very brash and very just in your face. Where JD Vance is not like that necessarily, and I think that would draw more
Big time.
from the other side
Big
of the
time. Oh
aisle.
yeah, you're right. I fully agree with you. Fully
Yeah.
agree with you.
Yeah.
And he might have been a lot of the reason that so many people like shifted and voted the other way.
It could
You
be.
know, he could
Very
have
well
been.
could have been. Yep.
Yeah. I'd love to have him on the podcast. I sent him a message. You know what I got in return? Nada. I got nothing. He was like, nah, nah.
No. Why
You
would
are
he? I
not,
mean, no.
you are not oh man, what's his name? Man, who's the number one podcaster? Joe Rogan. He's like, you're
Yeah.
no Joe
No.
Rogan. I'm not responding. So, it is what it
You
is.
didn't get told that.
No, he didn't tell
No,
me
he just didn't
anything. He just
respond.
ignored it.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Well,
mean, do you?
he
No
probably
offense to you.
didn't,
Do you
but
fault him? I
oh
mean,
no, not at
is
all.
no, no,
No, no, not at
Hey,
all.
you
no.
know who I gotta find? I gotta find for you. We everybody should find some people, some Beirut veterans. You need to get
Yeah,
them on the podcast, tell their story because there was a lot of combat going on there that no one knew about.
yeah, yeah. That would be awesome if you know anybody.
I know a couple. I know a couple.
Okay.
I'll get them to you.
I had a guy on today, Air Force. He was chief or command chief. I
Yeah,
can't remember
whatever,
what it's called.
whatever. Yeah.
I have it written down somewhere. Anyways, but he was a tactical air controller type of thing. But he spent the majority of his time with the Army, and he was down in Panama when all the stuff was going crazy in Panama, and he was telling stories about that. I mean, it was pretty impressive.
Noriega and all that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Uh,
he's a great dude. I mean, he's done some good stuff, but his
yeah, while
podcast
we
will
were
be on.
while
It
we
might
were
be
sitting here
small.
playing Blair and Metallica or whatever it
Yeah,
was, just
yeah, yeah.
driving them crazy.
Have you had any Grenada veterans on yet?
No,
Yeah, because I get my friend 26 left Lejeune, hit
hmm.
Grenada, and went over to Beirut.
No kidding.
Yeah, so I got one
Wow.
for you. I got a guy
Okay.
for
Yeah, that sounds good. Sounds good.
Yes, one of the guys I grew up with, a good friend in high school. He went in the Marine Corps a month after I did, but he was at Lejeune. I don't know who. I don't remember. He was an infantry guy, but went sniper. But he was in Somalia,
Mm,
and a little bit I've talked to him about that, talking about stuff, and he would be a good story.
yeah. Oh
Just
heck yeah.
how Somalia was.
we know Somalia, the army gets a big play in Somalia. Like that's what you hear most
Yeah,
about in Somalia was the army. But the Marine Corps played a huge presence out there.
yeah,
But
Mm.
the
yeah.
Marine Corps did things a lot different than the Army did. That's why
Yeah.
Oh
what
yeah,
happened
that's true.
for the
But
Army.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what he would told me. His name's Jake, but he was a water tower or a building or something. He was like, you freaking get your tail up there as high as you can and get it up there. So he said, he's like, Mike, I was sitting there shimmying and climbing and doing all this stuff. And, sitting there just going dink, 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 taking shot,
Yeah.
getting shot at, but he was shooting, but,
Yep.
and he
Good
wasn't
for
even in
those.
the Marine Corps even a year at that point. He was
Wow.
sitting there over there getting shot at and doing crap like that. But
There's so many. Like you look at the majority of people that were in combat, and the majority of them were junior enlisted.
Oh yeah.
When you look at it, any combat that happens, uh, and to
oh,
take an 18
absolutely,
year old,
yeah,
17, 18-year-old kid, throw them in combat, and then they come back to society, and you look at the troubles that some of them have as they come
yeah.
back, and you wonder why, or some people do, like, oh, couldn't have been that bad. Man, when you're
You
18
just
years old and you're doing that, that's a completely different story.
just had one
Uh,
on the other night. I can't remember
yeah.
his name. What is it? Is
J,
he?
J, mm,
God, I can't remember. I keep talking about him. I've talked to him about probably 20 people I know. I've talked about
I'll find it. Hold
that
on.
night.
I just got to get you it.
But literally a young kid,
Yeah.
and this
I
is
mean, he
what
was
you're going
he
to
was
do.
18,
You
right?
yeah, you got to do, this is your job. This is what you're going to do. If this and that, then you do this. And he did it,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
he ended up having to suffer the consequences because of piss poor leadership. And I mean, and that's the biggest thing that's always bothered me. And Mark and I talked about this the other night, but it's like, I don't understand how,
Jonathan Phillips was his name.
yep, yep.
Yeah.
How, okay. I never an officer, wasn't a part of the officer community. We all know people that were and are, but, is enlisted and even senior enlisted. And I don't claim to be Andrew and Mark by any means, some great senior enlisted leader by any means, but I've never understood how we would throw our own under the bus.
Yeah.
There's sometimes,
agree.
no offense, I mean, there's some you have to finally understand that it's like, okay, it's time to pull chalks. I can't do this. You're no
Yeah,
matter
you're too
what,
far gone. Yeah.
we just can't. And it's a terrible thing to do. But it's like I'm pulling everything I have away from all these other Marines just to try to deal with you. And I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But I've never understood how, is enlisted. I dealt with it as a junior enlisted and going into a staff sergeant, gunny master sergeant. I never understood how we were willing to just turn our backs on people.
Right. I could never.
And even
did.
if they were wrong, I mean, it's like, okay, let's sit and talk about this. All right. I can't fix this for you. But this is, Mark, I'm sure you've done it more times than not. There's nothing I can do to fix this. And Andrew, you've done it too. But these are your rights. These are the things.
Exactly.
This,
Oh, yeah.
at least give me, I'll give you what you need. It's going to best serve you because I, at this point in time, there's nothing I can do.
Right.
Yeah.
But, at least still try to be an advocate, even though it's like, man, I don't agree with anything you just did, but it's still my damn job to be your advocate.
And you still have rights without it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's your duty. That's your duty as that leader.
And I never understood, especially in our field, the minute you made a mistake, and I'm pretty sure you kind of changed some of that, Andrew, but the minute you made a mistake, you were done.
Oh, yeah.
They were trying to figure out who we could send you to combat photo or over to S3 or S1, just get you out of the damn unit because we don't want you attached to us in any way, shape, or form because all you do is bring to us is, oh, there's the band. It's the band.
You know what? I've done many like talks to Marines, things like that. One of my things that I always talk about is the turd, right? When you look at a unit and they're like, oh, that's the turd of the unit and he's just garbage and da, right? I look at that person and I go, you know what? That person is going to be honest with me. They're going to tell me the truth. They're not going to sugarcoat anything. And I'm going to go to that person. So when I have issues within the unit, that's one of the first people I'll go to is I'll go to the turd and I'll be like, hey, tell me what's going on. And they'll be like, oh, nothing. And I'm like, no. You're the only one that's going to give me straight scoop. You tell me what's going on. And they will. And they'll just let it go. And they're also the ones that can change a unit's outlook on things as well. And so
because
one
they're
of the things,
a little subversive at the in the backstory. That's because like I said,
absolutely.
I used to say that all the time. They're some of your strongest leaders, not the best leaders, but some of the strongest leaders. Because they communicate, they influence, and they they hold people accountable, but they do it from a negative aspect. So if
I always say
you can turn them.
Natural born leaders. That's what I always call them. Those turds are natural born leaders. They don't even realize that they're doing it.
Correct. Yep.
But if you can get them on your side, that's where things change completely. So, and I always use this example. I always say, okay, the unit, hey, we're going to have to go do something that nobody's going to want to do. And I always use the term, we're going to eat a shit sandwich, right? So I would call in the turd.
Everybody's got to take a bite.
Yeah. I call in the turd first and say, hey, look, we're all going to eat this shit sandwich and you have influence. No, I don't have influence. Oh, no, you do. You do. And I need you to take the first bite of this shit sandwich. And that individual, if you're honest with that person and they're honest with you, will go out, and when you brief the whole unit, hey, we're going to have to eat this shit sandwich. It's going to taste horrible, but we're going to do it. I need a volunteer to go first. And when you've already had that conversation, that turd's going to raise his hand and say, I'll take the first bite. And everybody's going to look around and be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't,
right,
I can't say no because the turd's doing it.
Totally right.
Yeah. That's one of the big things. I always go to those guys, man, those guys that are the outcasts or whatever, because they're going to tell you straight scoop. They're going to tell you what they think.
Yeah. And the sad thing is typically those are also the ones that are there every damn day.
Yeah.
And they get to take the crap from everybody and anybody because they're, they may not be the number one. They're not a part of even in the Marine Corps. It's terrible to say. I can only speak for the band field, but it's still cliquey. You're still going to have these groups, and certain people are going to help dictate, and junior enlisted, who's strong, who isn't, what's going to do. You're still going to have damn bullies. It's senior, it's, your corporals and your sergeants' decision, right. That's their job to sort that crap out, even in staff NCOs, but it's still going to happen.
Yeah.
But they're always the ones that seem to show up, and everybody's, they're a shithead. They don't do this. They don't do that. But it's like, well, that's funny. I always see his face.
Those are the ones I always pull in.
Yeah. And it's the underdog at that point. It's like,
and can be your best advocate, man. And I think that's one of the things that leaders miss is that whole aspect of, maybe he's not the best and maybe he's not the brightest or whatever, but by God, man, that guy has influence, and you've got to utilize.
It's all part of knowing your Marines.
Mm-hmm.
And also,
that's exactly it.
Deploy your unit in accordance with its capabilities.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
It's all part of it. It's all part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate to be the wet blanket, but I'm getting the signal to that I got to.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're right. We can wrap it up.
Because his wife's getting mad since
it's chow time.
Is she still losing?
Chow time here. You guys are already ready for bed, but it's chow time for me.
Yeah, I got to clean up the kitchen. Mark, I had got dinner ready, so.
All right, I'll wrap it up. Hey, to all the listeners out there, if you're struggling, you need help, anything like that, don't forget the VA does have some great resources. You can always dial 988, press option 1. You can always text 838-255, or you can go to veteranscrisisline.net and click on that chat icon. Any of those options will put you in contact with somebody that can help you out. But remember, one veteran life loss is one too many. I care about you. Mike cares about you. Mark cares about you. The whole veteran community cares about you. So please reach out for help. And if you're out there, you're not struggling, reach out to the buddies you serve with. Ask them how they're doing. If they need help, give them that helping hand. All right, Mark, Mike, thank you guys. I appreciate you. To all listeners, stay motivated. Change your socks.
Ton Tavern, birthplace of the Corps. We as Marines hold this history close to our hearts. Wouldn't it be spectacular if the establishment was born again? The Ton Legacy Foundation, a nonprofit 501c3, is taking the task and is looking to the Marines to once again save the day. Help the Lost Art podcast in raising funds to help get the Ton built once again, only 100 yards from the original establishment in Philadelphia. We are looking for Marines to donate $25, representing the upcoming 250th birthday of the Corps. Spread the message and help establish the Ton, a place for Marine brethren to gather and remember our historic beginning. Go to the Lost Art GoFundMe page and donate today. The Ton Legacy Foundation, reestablishing our birthplace.